Stock Tip. Best stock setups.
Welcome, I'm Marcel Todia and this is today's episode of Stock Tips Daily Update. In the first part of our video we are going to talk about the state of the markets as usual, and we are going to begin with a S&P 500. I've mentioned bounce yesterday, I've mentioned possible bounce. I've said it should be interpreted as a technical bounce at first, and if it's going to be anything more than that, we will let the markets tell us. And today we see that our first targets have been reached. Our first target were the 20 and the 90 moving average, and in the S&P 500 we see a hefty movement the day before, which ended in the actually right at the 20-day moving average, perhaps a little above. And the same can almost be said in the Nasdaq, in the tech sector. You see here we still have a little to go to reach the 20-day moving average, which is in the somewhere at about 390, but as I've said yesterday, our first goal would be 386 and our second goal would be 390. What's going to happen then? Are we going to see a rally? Are we going to continue this rally, or is it only going to be a nice technical bounce? Actually, no one can tell. That's why I believe the main thing to do is to remain cautious. If you are already long in the markets, then I would say good for you, but protect your investments and try not to go too crazy here. The markets could turn anytime. For as you see, if you take a look at the Nasdaq, this long trend, perhaps I have a couple of trend lines here, too many. Try to delete a couple of them. But if you take a look at these long trend lines here, these long trend lines, we have broken this long-lasting support line this week, and even though we are above the support line, we've still broken the trend. And at the moment you may see that the 50-day moving average is moving horizontally, which would indicate that a sideways movement is above us. So I wouldn't be surprised if the big investors, if the institutional investors are going to buy weakness and sell strength. That would mean that we will be finding ourselves in a trend canal here, in a horizontal trend canal, which could mean such movements. So such movements. One move like this, one move like that, one move like this. This is only a theory. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if this is going to happen. But the main thing you should take away from this is you should thread carefully, and you should still have your main position would still be cash. I am also a little invested, but just a little, perhaps 10 to 20% of my portfolio is invested at the moment. I think 10%. Of course, you can go ahead and you may do as you wish. This may turn out to be the breakout and the rally we've been waiting for the whole of autumn. No one can tell that, so you may of course you may invest in some top setups that you're going to get from me, but I think you should be you should still be careful what you are doing, because we may be surprised yet. The small stocks, the small caps are pulling their weight. They've also bounced from the last support line, and they're moving with that much momentum as the rest of the markets are. But that's because this time around, as opposed to November, the movements are generated from the tech sector and the big companies. Further, you see here what I mean. Most of the big companies in the S&P and Nasdaq, the main companies like Apple, Amazon, Google, Adobe, Netflix, they've just made a bounce. They are most of them are on a descending trend or in a correction phase, and they've just bounced, and they are still to hit the next support, the next resistance line. And if they hit the next resistance line, there's nothing stopping them from bouncing back down again. That's why, and if they do, they weight about 20% of the whole market, so 20% of the, or more, 20, 25, perhaps even 30% of the whole Nasdaq and the S&P 500 is composed of these huge titles, of these huge companies, and if they bounce back again, then they are going to pull the whole market. So if you take a look at Amazon, yes, we've reached an important support line here, which we've broken actually, and only then we've bounced around after we've touched the last support line, and if you're going to bounce back down again from this resistance line, then the same could happen here in Google. Also a horizontal movement in the last few months. We've almost reached the last support line, and then we've made a bounce. I think Adobe is not that different. Adobe is not that different. Adobe is also on a descending trend, and Netflix also had a big downside movement. It was logical we would get a bounce, but this is a descending trend. If the trend continues, then perhaps the trend could continue in all of the markets. Next up is a discussion about our trades. I wanted to show you that some of our setups are pushing through, even though the markets were real crazy. So CLR, I've presented you with CLR last week. So CLR seems to have broken out. I haven't seen it at all, but there you have it. A nice breakout here. Yesterday you could have bought in again above this bar here, above the high of the last bar, and you see also that the volume was also above average, so it was a nice re-breakout out of a pullback, a nice opportunity to buy yourself in again if you wanted. Then IRTC, this is my favorite out of my portfolio. I still had two active positions, IRTC and ENVA, and IRTC pushed further along yesterday, allowing me to cash in on some of on the first profits. So I've closed 1/3 of my position yesterday, and it's still looking very good. The weekly chart also looking very, very healthy. I hope I will see a better further movement until we reach hopefully the market of 300, but we shall see how long this takes. This could take a month or two, but this is a position trade, and we have patience. Then Enva also moved yesterday, allowing me to cash in here. Also, I've cashed in on these profits yesterday, and I'm very happy about it. Then it doesn't matter what happens. What happens now? I've made a profit, and the profit is there to stay. This trade is never going to be a loss, and I've pulled my stops further along. I also pulled my stops in the IRTC. I think the stops are now, the stop is now here at 100. It was here at 85 or 86, and now it's at 100. I don't want them to fall any further. And TCM, I've talked about TCM the last few days. I think at the end of last week I've talked about TCM, and I've told you after this much consolidation here, months of consolidation, we would expect a breakout. The breakout came, and then came the pullback. I was a little hasty with the pullback, as I've bought the pullback here. This support line, only to have it broken down, and then I wasn't paying any attention more, and yesterday there came the next breakout. So congrats, and everybody who've paid attention and are invested in TSM. This is one of the best setups out there, or this was one of the best setups out there, with a huge potential and a long time investment. Now in the third part of our video, like usually, I'm going to present you with the next setups, and the list is huge, so I don't think we have enough time to talk about all of them, but at least a couple of them I may show you, I may present you. So BMY, this is the next breakout on our list. No, daily chart. Yes, BMY broke out yesterday, and the day before, I think, and yesterday this breakout was confirmed with the next candle. So expect a movement, a nice movement, and the target of 70. If you've taken this breakout, this setup, then congrats. You are in luck. You will reach, perhaps you will reach a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. So congrats. Then HCC also broke out yesterday. We see above average volume, so a healthy breakout. Perhaps we will get a little resistance here down the line, the 1 point further, but actually the setup is very good, and if you take a look at the average movement, then perhaps 40 is the next target. So nice breakout out of the horizontal setup. Very nice breakout. CNX, perhaps you should put this on your today's watch list. CNX is almost an horizontal breakout, and there is a reason I like them. For you see here in a BMI also horizontal, in I will, yes, here. If you get a pullback here in a title like GRTX, you get a breakout, and then when the pullback comes, you are going to end with your pullback underneath the initial breakout point. I will do it like this, and then I will correct it underneath your initial breakout point, and that's why I don't like it. I like it, but not that much as in horizontal. And then you're going to continue your movement, as opposed to an horizontal breakout. In an horizontal breakout, if you do get a pullback, you would still be above your breaking out point, and In most cases, your stop is not going to get hurt, and you're going to be at least even when the pullback comes. That's why I prefer the horizontal setups. And so further, GRTX, also a very nice setup here on our list. Allow me to make these modifications. Done. So GRTX with gap, a huge gap, and further healthy movement and a healthy consolidation. And now we've reached the moving averages, and I think a breakout is unavoidable here, with the next target being a gap close, a huge gap close here, and that leaves us enough room for doubling perhaps, and I think a 4-to-1 risk-reward ratio if you want to take it. Ford consolidates also. Ford above 25 is a definite buy, but I think we're going to see a little more consolidation before it breaks out. Pfizer also perhaps another few days of consolidation before the breakout comes. GLOP it's fighting with the moving averages. This is not one of the best, but still a healthy setup. If you're going to break out here, I think 6 is the new target. TSM, I've already shown you this. BHC, so this is something for a position trader. BHC in a weekly chart looking extremely good. A nice move, then 1, 2, 3 bars with consolidation. If you're going to break out this week, then this is a definite buy with a stop underneath the last weekly bar. So at about 25.6, 25.7, that's your stop. So this is also going on my list. I think I'm very interested in this one. The next one would be ROCC, a small titan, also very interesting for me. If the breakout comes, I'm going to be in standby, I hope, at least. Then SKT, you can see all of them very nice titles. I've taken some time, and I've tried to select only the best of the best for you, and there you have it. Then MLE, this was our candidate for the weekly setup. Still looking healthy. SKT, I forgot to say, also very nice, and also looking very promising also in the weekly chart. You may choose how you want to act. Then CTX, and I think we're going to do one more, and then the next I'll show you tomorrow. So CTXS, a horizontal breakout. This is one of the things I love. With a gap, this gap was defended, and we are still moving along and above the moving averages and consolidating at the 100 line. If you're going to break out, then the next target will be 115, and that allows us a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. For anything less, I am not interested, but a nice setup overall, and I think I'm interested primarily in all horizontal setups, and this may just be one of them that I'm interested in. Also nice horizontal setup, the same story here, moving along and slightly above the moving averages, and now at a resistance line. If the breakout comes, then definite buy. So The last for today, probably one more. FISV, consolidating at 110. FISV has shown in the past to make hefty movements upwards, and that's why it's on our list. Then CSX, the last one for today. CSX has just managed to close above the 50 moving average with a huge hammer and huge volume. That would leave us space for a nice bounce here, and if the bounce comes, this is our risk, and this is our target. So we are interested in a breakout above 38, but we would be interested in a move to 38, and there we would close our position, if you have any interest in this one. Okay, this was all for today's episode. I have a lot of more setups for you, or a couple of more here, but also a lot more that are not on this list. The list has gotten too long. It was supposed to be 10 setups, but I couldn't help myself. If you've enjoyed today's video, please leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, write them down under the comment section. And I hope you've enjoyed. See you tomorrow.